If you're looking to have a career in the sports creative industry, sharing your work on social media is obviously one of the most important things you can do in order to get noticed by teams, athletes, and organizations. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys my absolute favorite way to showcase my video content on social media using this 4-in-1 video style post for Instagram Reels and TikTok. First of all, I apologize if I have a bit of a raspy voice. I'm getting over the flu still. I had it a few weeks ago and I still have a bit of a nagging cough, but I didn't want to miss a week of posting here on YouTube. I think I've been pretty consistent for the last 2 months and I want to keep it going here for you guys. Now, over the last few years, I've made a few videos talking about how important it is to showcase your work online, specifically on social media, because of the way social media algorithms act these days. It is insane the amount of reach your work can get if you post it on social media. And this all comes from personal experience because I have had so many opportunities and gigs come my way because I've been regularly posting my work for the last 2 to 3 years. Whether it's athletes, organizations, or teams reaching out, they usually will find me on something like TikTok and Instagram and then reach out to me because they like the work I'm posting and want to hire me for a very similar job. Now, often when I talk to people about this, about sharing your work on social media, the main question I get in return is, okay, but what should I post? And for people who work in the sports creative industry, the options are endless, which is an exciting thing to know, but I know it can also be pretty daunting. Now, if you were to go onto my Instagram right now, you would probably notice that I often don't post the same style of content back to back or even very frequently because I like to experiment in the different styles of content that I post. Whether it's a single highlight from a game I shot, behind the scenes on how I got a certain shot, a timeline breakdown from an edit, different things to see what hits with my audience and the algorithm and allows me to showcase my sports cinematography work in the best light possible. However, there is one style of post I will continuously go back to. Number one, because it's just a very easy style of post to build. And number two, you're able to showcase so many pieces of work in just one post. And it's this 4-in-1 video style post where you have 4 or even 5 or 6 clips stacked on top of each other in one 9x16 frame. Now, like I said before, not only are you able to show several clips in one post, but you're also able to see the full 16:9 frame because you're not cropping in to ruin the composition, which can very much be the case if you're just posting one clip and you're cropping and zooming in order to showcase it in the 9:16 vertical aspect ratio that we're kind of forced to abide by on social media. Now, I use this style of post very frequently after shooting a game or an event and knowing that I have 4, 5, or even 6 clips that I really want to showcase. Instead of making 4, 5, 6 different posts, I can just put them all in this one video style and showcase everything all at once. These videos are probably some of the easiest and most eye-catching ways of showcasing your best sports videography / cinematography work, something that won't take up a lot of time compared to doing something like a custom edit. And for me in the past, they've done great numbers both on TikTok and Instagram view-wise, so it's also a really good way to get your work out to the masses and to potential clients who might want to hire you in the future. Whether you want to showcase 3, 4, or 5 different videos or even 6, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I create these posts, so let's dive right into it. We're going to start in Photoshop first and then make our way into Premiere Pro. So first things first, we're actually going to hop into Photoshop instead of Premiere Pro in order to create a template / a guide for this, in order to make sure that when you're putting your clips and stacking them on top of each other, you can size and crop them all to a similar proportional size. I created one of these and I just have it saved from my desktop and I use it all the time. So first things first, when you're in Photoshop, open up a 9x16 vertical artboard project. You're then going to want to go to Guides, New Guide Layout, and you're going to get this window here that gives you these lines that kind of act as a guide. You're going to deselect columns and go to rows, and then you're going to get rid of gutter. Make sure that's 0 or nothing there. Same with how you don't want anything there. The number we're going to focus on here is the number of rows. For this, you can choose 4 rows, you can choose 5 rows, you can choose 6, depending on how many clips you want to showcase. I usually like to go with 4, so for this example, we're just going to click in 4. Again, making sure there's no height or gutter values, and click OK. Once you have your guides, you're going to notice that your artboard is split up into 4 or however many you picked equal pieces. And then what you're going to want to do is create 4 different rectangles, which I did in advance here. And these 4 rectangles will essentially be the guide for how you put your images and size them up in Premiere Pro. And then once you're done that, you can just go and export them somewhere really accessible. For me, I just keep it on my desktop. So we're gonna go here to desktop and we're gonna do frame template 4-piece 2023 and save that. And now we're gonna hop into Premiere Pro. Now that we're in Premiere Pro, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I edit these kinds of videos, stacking frames on top of one another using that template we created just now in Photoshop. First things first, you're gonna open up a 9x16 sequence. I have one already built here, but just to show you guys my sequence settings, I have the editing mode under DSLR. I have the time base at 23.976 frames per second. Frame size is 1080 by 1920 for the vertical 9x16 aspect ratio. And then the rest of the settings, you guys can pause and take a look. It's all pretty standard from there. And once we're done that, we're gonna take the frame template we created in Photoshop and then drag it all across the timeline here. And as you can tell, we have that black and white checkerboard look as the guide and the template for where our videos are gonna go and how to size them. So once you've done all that, you can then start taking your videos and putting it right on top of the actual frame template. And you're gonna notice at this point, if you're shooting in 4K or 1080p, it depends, you might have to resize your footage. In this case, it's taking up the whole frame. We don't want that. So we're gonna take the scale and we're gonna bring it down until it's nice and sized up. 28, we still have a little bit of white showing on the sides. So we're gonna go, let's go with 29 here. That looks great. And then we're gonna drag this up and kind of position it to where we want it for the top frame of this edit. So right here, this looks great, but you can tell that obviously it's starting to cover the second frame here shown in white. So what you're then gonna do is go to your effects and type in crop. You're gonna take that and put it on your video, and then you can use this to start cropping the bottom of it. And you just wanna line it up exactly to where the white starts. And there you have it. There's your first frame ready to go on your template. Looking really nice there. And then you're just gonna repeat the process with all 4 of them, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. One tip I wanna give you guys is make sure when you're doing this, in order to stay organized, the positioning of your clip in the timeline should equal the positioning of the clip in the actual sequence. As you can tell here in the frame, this is the topmost video we have here. So instead of leaving the video down here at the bottom, we're gonna drag it up to the topmost track in our sequence, just to keep it organized and easy to find if you wanna tweak it down the line. We're gonna continue building out the post here, taking the next video onto the track underneath the first one. Like we did before, we're gonna size this down. I'm gonna do 29 here, and then I'm gonna drag it up to be the second frame. And as you can tell, since it's underneath the top track, I actually don't have to crop the top in this case. I'm only cropping the bottom. So we're gonna position the frame as to where we like it. We don't wanna cut off their heads here. And then we're gonna go to effects, click crop, and then just like before, slowly cropping the bottom until we see white, and then positioning it so it's right on the line of our template there. We're gonna rinse and repeat here. We're gonna take our third frame, put it on the third track, size it down to whatever fits your frame. For me, that was 29. That's not 29, that is. And then we're gonna just slide it down, position our frame as to where we like it, giving enough headroom here, play through the clip. That's probably the best part of the clip there. And as you can tell, this clip is a little longer, and a big thing with this is making sure your clips are all the same length as much as possible. So I'm gonna crop this one in a bit and make sure it equals the rest of the frame. Looking good. And then again, under effects, gonna click crop, and then we're just gonna find that sweet spot for the frame right there. And there we have it, 3 frames out of 4, 1 more to go, and this is looking great so far. Last but certainly not least, we're gonna bring in our 4th clip to the timeline at the bottom, trim it up so it's the same length as the rest of our clips. We're going to go to effect controls, resize it, 29, and then we're gonna drag it down until it pops up, and then you frame the clip however you'd like. We're gonna play through it here. Kind of cuts off his head here at the end, but that's okay. We'll go with that. And since it's the bottommost clip, you actually don't need to use the crop tool in this one, because the top of the clip is actually covered by the rest of them on the timeline, and then the bottom is covered up by the edge of the frame. And that pretty much does it. We'll just play through it here. And this is exactly how I create these 4-in-1 video style posts to showcase multiple clips in one single video. And you can get really creative with this after the fact if you want to extend your clips and make it longer, if you want to add another set of 4 clips after the first set to maybe show 8 frames in the same post. You can get really creative to showcase your best work using this. And as you can tell, it is very easy to set up and doesn't take much time at all. And there you have it. That is how I create my 4-in-1 video posts for social media. This is my favorite way of showcasing my videos as soon as I'm done shooting an event or a game. As you guys can tell, it's a very quick and efficient way of showcasing your best clips all in one go. And hopefully seeing this is going to motivate you guys to try this and, share more of your work online, because that is a very important part of working in this industry, is showcasing your work and showing what you're up to in order for people to potentially want to hire you in the future. And that does it for this video. If you guys enjoyed and you guys took something away from this video, please consider leaving a like down below. If you guys have any questions about this kind of post and how I made it, make sure to leave me a comment down below. And also, if you guys haven't yet, please make sure you subscribe in order to help the channel grow, as I would really appreciate it. And that is it from me, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.